Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Let me ask you a quick question before we begin. Have you ever looked at something and wondered whether you should call it big, huge, or massive? Many English learners use these words in the same way, but are they really identical? The answer is no. These words may look similar, but they carry different levels of strength, emotion, and meaning. Today, we are going to explore the words big, huge, and massive in a deep and detailed way. By the end of this lecture, you will understand exactly when and how to use each word naturally and confidently in English conversations, writing, storytelling, and daily communication. English is a language full of shades of meaning. Sometimes two words look almost the same, but native speakers feel a clear difference between them. That is exactly the case with big, huge, and massive. All three words describe size, importance, or intensity, but each word creates a different image in the listener's mind. Let us begin with the first word, big. The word big is one of the most common and useful adjectives in English. It is simple, flexible, and easy to use. Big generally means large in size, amount, importance, or degree. It is the basic word people use when they want to describe something larger than normal. Children learn this word very early because it is simple and universal. You can use big for physical objects, events, emotions, opportunities, problems, achievements, and much more. For example, you can say, a big house, a big city, a big dream, a big mistake, a big problem, a big opportunity. Notice something important here. Big is not only about physical size. It is also used for importance and emotional impact. When someone says, this is a big moment, they are not talking about physical size. They mean the moment is important. That is why big is one of the most flexible words in English. Now let us understand the feeling behind the word big. Big usually sounds natural, neutral, and conversational. It does not sound extreme. It simply describes something above average. If you say, I saw a big dog, the listener imagines a dog larger than normal. But they do not imagine a monster-sized animal. Big gives a moderate impression. Now let us discuss some common situations where native speakers use big. People use big when talking about size, importance, popularity, success, influence, emotion, growth. For example, a big company, a big decision, a big smile, a big success, a big change. Now let us look at 5 detailed example sentences using big. Example 1. My brother bought a big television for the living room so the whole family could enjoy movies together. Example 2. She made a big decision when she chose to leave her job and start her own business. Example 3. The city is famous for its big markets filled with colorful clothes, delicious food, and local crafts. Example 4. Winning the competition was a big achievement for the young athlete because he had trained for years. Example 5. There was a big crowd outside the stadium waiting to see the famous singer perform live. Now let us go deeper. Big is also commonly used in expressions and idioms. For example, big deal, big shot, big idea, big news. Think big. Let us understand these quickly. Big deal means something important. If someone says, getting this contract is a big deal, they mean it is very important. Big shot refers to an important or powerful person. For example, he became a big shot in the fashion industry. Think big means to dream ambitiously. For example, if you want success, you must think big. Now here is an important grammar point. The comparative form of big is bigger. The superlative form is biggest. For example, this building is bigger than the old one. Mount Everest is one of the biggest mountains in the world. Now let us move to the second word, huge. Huge is stronger than big. When you say something is huge, you are describing something very large, extremely important, or very impressive. Huge creates a stronger emotional reaction than big. For example, a huge building sounds much larger than a big building. A huge success sounds much more impressive than a big success. Huge adds intensity. Now let us understand the feeling behind huge. Huge often expresses surprise, excitement, admiration, or emphasis. When native speakers want to make their speech more dramatic or emotional, they often use huge instead of big. Imagine these two sentences. I got a big opportunity. I got a huge opportunity. The second sentence sounds more emotional and powerful. Huge is commonly used in spoken English because it sounds expressive and energetic. Now let us examine where huge is frequently used. People use huge for very large objects, strong emotions, great achievements, major events, large crowds, powerful reactions. Examples include a huge stadium, a huge improvement, a huge celebration, a huge disappointment, a huge influence. Now here is something very interesting. Huge is not always literal. Sometimes it is emotional exaggeration. For example, I am a huge fan of that actor. This does not mean physically large. It means a very strong fan or supporter. Now let us look at 5 detailed example sentences using huge. Example 1. The company made a huge profit after launching its new smartphone across international markets. Example 2. A huge storm moved toward the coast, forcing thousands of people to leave their homes for safety. Example 3. She gave me a huge smile when I surprised her with a birthday gift. Example 4. The concert attracted a huge audience from different cities and countries around the world. Example 5. Learning English can create huge opportunities for students who want to study or work internationally. Now let us compare big and huge directly. If you say, that house is big, you mean the house is larger than average. But if you say, that house is huge, you mean the house is extremely large and impressive. Huge has more emotional power. Now let us discuss pronunciation and tone. Native speakers often stress the word huge when speaking. For example, that was a huge mistake. The emphasis increases emotional intensity. Huge is also common in advertising and media. You may hear huge discounts, huge sale, huge announcement, huge breakthrough. Companies use huge because it sounds exciting and attention-grabbing. Now let us move to the third word, massive. Massive is one of the strongest words in this group. It describes something extremely large, heavy, powerful, serious, or significant. Massive often gives the impression of great weight, strength, or scale. Originally, massive came from the word mass, meaning a large body of matter. Because of this origin, massive often suggests something solid, powerful, or overwhelming. For example, a massive rock, a massive building, a massive explosion. Massive feels heavier and more dramatic than huge. Now let us understand the emotional effect of massive. Massive often creates a sense of seriousness, power, intensity, or impact. When someone says, there was a massive earthquake, the listener imagines something destructive and extremely serious. If someone says, the company suffered a massive loss, it sounds far more severe than a big loss. Massive is commonly used in news reports, documentaries, sports commentary, business discussions, and dramatic storytelling. Now let us examine common uses of massive. People often use massive for natural disasters, strong impacts, large structures, major financial changes, serious problems, powerful achievements. Examples include a massive explosion, a massive victory, a massive challenge, a massive crowd, a massive project. Now let us look at 5 detailed example sentences using massive. Example 1. The country experienced a massive earthquake that damaged buildings, roads, and communication systems. Example 2. The technology company announced a massive investment in artificial intelligence research and development. Example 3. A massive ship appeared on the horizon as the fishermen returned to the harbor at sunset. Example 4. The football team celebrated a massive victory after defeating the champions in the final match. Example 5. The movie became a massive success and earned millions of dollars within its first week of release. Now let us compare all 3 words together. Big is basic and neutral. Huge is emotional and stronger. Massive is powerful and dramatic. Listen carefully to these 3 sentences. There was a big crowd outside the mall. There was a huge crowd outside the mall. There was a massive crowd outside the mall. The meaning changes gradually in intensity. Big crowd means many people. Huge crowd means extremely many people. Massive crowd means an enormous and overwhelming number of people. Now let us discuss natural usage. Native speakers often choose words depending on emotion and situation. If you are casually talking with friends, big is common. If you are excited or impressed, huge is more natural. If you are describing something powerful, serious, or dramatic, massive works best. Now let us explore the differences through categories. First category, physical size. Big car means a large car. Huge car means a very large car. Massive car sounds unusually large and heavy, almost overwhelming. Second category, success. Big success means an important success. Huge success means extremely impressive success. Massive success means extraordinary success with major impact. Third category, problems. Big problem means an important issue. Huge problem means a very serious issue. Massive problem means an overwhelming and possibly dangerous issue. Now let us discuss collocations. Collocations are words that naturally go together in English. Common collocations with big, big dream, big chance, big family, big city, big difference. Common collocations with huge, huge fan, huge success, huge impact, huge improvement, huge mistake. Common collocations with massive, massive attack, massive investment, massive damage, massive growth, massive achievement. Learning collocations is important because it helps you sound more natural and fluent. Now let us explore emotional tone in more detail. Big usually sounds calm and neutral. Huge sounds enthusiastic and emotional. Massive sounds intense and dramatic. Imagine a friend describing a concert. If they say, "The concert was big," that sounds strange because concerts are usually described by energy or attendance, not physical size. If they say, "The concert was huge," that sounds natural and exciting. If they say, "The concert was massive," that sounds even more powerful and dramatic. Now let us discuss another important point. Can these words describe importance instead of size? Absolutely yes. For example, a big opportunity, a huge opportunity, a massive opportunity. All 3 describe importance, but the strength increases each time. This is very common in modern English. Now let us examine common mistakes learners make. Mistake number 1. Using massive for small situations. For example, "I ate a massive sandwich." This is possible, but it sounds exaggerated unless the sandwich is extremely large. Mistake number 2. Using huge in formal academic writing too often. Huge is conversational and emotional. In formal writing, words like significant or substantial may sound more professional. Mistake number 3. Repeating big too much. Many learners overuse big because it is easy. Expanding your vocabulary with huge and massive makes your English richer and more expressive. Now let us practice sentence transformation. Original sentence. The company had a big success. Stronger version. The company had a huge success. More dramatic version. The company achieved massive success. Notice how the emotional intensity grows. Here is another example. Original. There was a big explosion. Stronger. There was a huge explosion. Most dramatic. There was a massive explosion. Now let us discuss tone in media and entertainment. Journalists often use massive because it sounds powerful and attention-grabbing. For example, massive wildfire spreads across the region. Massive protest fills city streets. Massive cyberattack affects thousands of users. Advertisers often prefer huge because it sounds exciting and positive. For example, huge discounts available now. Huge savings this weekend. Huge opportunity for investors. Big is more common in daily conversation because it is simple and flexible. Now let us do a deeper comparison with visual imagination. Imagine 3 waves in the ocean. A big wave is noticeable and larger than normal. A huge wave is extremely large and dangerous. A massive wave feels overwhelming and powerful like a natural force. That is the emotional difference between these words. Now let us discuss pronunciation briefly. Big is short and simple. Huge has a strong stretched vowel sound. Massive sounds heavier and more serious because of its longer structure. These sound qualities also affect emotional impact in speech. Now let us examine storytelling usage. Writers use big for simple description. They use huge for emotional excitement. They use massive for dramatic intensity. For example, the hero faced a big challenge. The hero faced a huge challenge. The hero faced a massive challenge. Each sentence creates a different emotional picture. Now let us discuss usage in business English. Big company means a large company. Huge company means a very influential or internationally recognized company. Massive company suggests enormous scale, financial power, and global reach. For example, a massive corporation dominates the industry. Now let us explore sports commentary. Sports commentators love using huge and massive because these words create excitement. Examples. That was a huge goal. The team earned a massive victory. The player made a huge impact in the match. These words increase emotional energy for viewers. Now let us discuss social media and modern communication. People frequently use huge online because it sounds expressive. Examples. Huge thanks to everyone. Huge congratulations. Huge respect. Massive is also common in British English informal speech. For example, massive thanks to all our supporters. Now let us compare the words in emotional situations. Imagine receiving good news. You may say, "This is big news." "This is huge news." "This is massive news." All are correct, but the emotional strength increases step by step. Now let us do another exercise. Think about these situations. A large building. An important achievement. A serious storm. An enormous business deal. Which word fits best? A large building could be big, huge, or massive depending on scale. An important achievement is often huge or massive. A serious storm is usually huge or massive. An enormous business deal is often massive. Context matters greatly in English vocabulary. Now let us discuss formality. Big is neutral and universal. Huge is informal to semi-formal. Massive is slightly more dramatic and often used in media or powerful descriptions. However, all 3 are widely accepted in spoken English. Now let us examine cultural impact. English speakers love expressive exaggeration. Words like huge and massive help create stronger reactions and emotional engagement. That is why you hear them frequently in YouTube videos, advertisements, news reports, and entertainment content. For content creators and speakers, these words are powerful tools. Instead of saying, "The response was good," you can say, "The response was huge," or "The response was massive." This creates stronger excitement for the audience. Now let us explore synonyms briefly. Synonyms of big include large, great, considerable. Synonyms of huge include enormous, gigantic, immense. Synonyms of massive include colossal, monumental, gigantic. Each synonym has its own emotional flavor. Now let us discuss the psychological effect of these words. Words shape imagination. The stronger the adjective, the stronger the mental image. Big creates a normal large image. Huge creates an exciting oversized image. Massive creates a powerful overwhelming image. This is why vocabulary choice matters so much in communication. Now let us practice with storytelling examples. Example 1. A boy enters a big library filled with books. This sounds normal and realistic. Example 2. A boy enters a huge library filled with endless rows of books. Now the image feels impressive and exciting. Example 3. A boy enters a massive library that stretches beyond sight like a maze of knowledge. Now the image feels dramatic and cinematic. That is the power of vocabulary. Now let us discuss common everyday conversations. Friend 1 says, "Did you see the new shopping mall?" Friend 2 replies, "Yes, it is huge." This sounds natural because malls are often described with excitement. Now another example. The storm caused massive damage to the city. Massive works best because damage sounds serious and intense. Now let us summarize the core differences clearly. Big means larger than normal. Huge means extremely large or impressive. Massive means enormous, powerful, serious, or overwhelming. Big is simple. Huge is emotional. Massive is dramatic. Now before we finish, let us quickly review all 15 examples together. Big examples. My brother bought a big television for the living room. She made a big decision about her career. The city has big markets full of local products. Winning the competition was a big achievement. There was a big crowd outside the stadium. Huge examples. The company made a huge profit this year. A huge storm approached the coast. She gave me a huge smile. The concert attracted a huge audience. Learning English creates huge opportunities. Massive examples. The country experienced a massive earthquake. The company announced a massive investment. A massive ship appeared on the horizon. The football team celebrated a massive victory. The movie became a massive success. These examples show how each word changes emotional intensity and meaning. Now here is a final learning tip for all English learners. Do not memorize vocabulary alone. Learn the feeling behind words. English fluency comes not only from grammar but also from understanding emotional tone and natural usage. When you watch movies, interviews, podcasts, or news reports, listen carefully to how native speakers use big, huge, and massive. Notice the situations, emotions, and emphasis connected to each word. The more you observe real English, the more natural your own speaking will become. And remember this: choosing the right word can completely change the power of your communication. A simple sentence can become exciting, emotional, or dramatic just by changing one adjective. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. I hope you learned something valuable today and now feel more confident using the words big, huge, and massive correctly in English. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to support the channel, share this video with your friends, and continue practicing your English every day. Keep learning, keep improving, and keep growing. See you in the next lecture.